my autonomy and freedom and liberty is so valuable to me, and this is one of the ways in my life that I have found to express that. Hey guys, it's Agnes. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. I'm a psychiatric nurse and therapist, and this is my first video of, I suspect, many videos about a pretty large part of my life, and that is non-monogamy. So this type of video is going to exist in a kind of new category in my channel, like lifestyle type category rather than like purely mental health. Non-monogamy is like a huge topic to cover. So in this first video, I'm just going to talk a really small amount about one very small part of it. But I am definitely going to get into this a lot more in the future. I think it's really, really interesting. And I would love to know what you guys want to know more about it. So feel free to comment below any questions you have, anything that like comes to mind when you think about non-monogamy. Because I would love to cover things like jealousy and hierarchy and all of these different things. I'm already doing a lot of talking with my hands. You guys can tell it's gonna be a good video, a real handy video. Oh, yeah. So the small part that I wanted to discuss today is the relationship escalator. So the relationship escalator is essentially the concept that when you meet somebody and you start dating, you are then on this kind of, trajectory towards more and more serious things. And it typically goes like you date, you fall in love, you move in together. So you're going up the escalator. You move in together, you get engaged, married. Wait, at some point, maybe you got a cat or a dog or some kind of pet. You get engaged, you get married, you have kids, you don't from having kids. Oh, the word, I have to bleep myself. I have to bleep myself for that. That's annoying. You don't as soon as you have kids, obviously, but you have kids, you raise a family, and then till death do you part is essentially the idea. Now, I am not against this. I think that some people think about non-monogamous people like myself that we would just like absolutely hate the idea of any kind of convention, and I don't. I'm engaged to be married. I do like the idea of marriage. I think I probably think about it quite differently to how a lot of other people do, but that's a whole other video. That's a whole other video. But I don't have anything against convention. I think that it's important to not find yourself on autopilot when it comes to those steps. So there are some of the things on the relationship escalator that I have chosen to participate in, like falling in love. I'm a big fan of falling in love. And obviously the getting engaged, getting married. I would also quite like to have children. This video is getting quite deeply personal. But there are other parts that I haven't subscribed to. Like I live as part of a commune with some family members of mine and their partners. But my plan is to not live with a partner of mine. So to not live in a kind of conventional way, husband, wife, kids, all under one roof. That is not appealing to me. I would rather raise my kids as part of a commune and have partners just kind of around about. And again, that is a whole other huge thing to get into. I've lost my train of thought. Please hold. So with the things that I just listed that typically exist on the relationship escalator, I'm sorry, I had an intrusive thought that my microphone wasn't on. It is on. It's always on. It's always on when I check. If you guys don't know about intrusive thoughts, I just did a video on it and now I'm sweating. It's just my anxiety levels tell me that my microphone isn't on, even though logically I know that it's on. It's always on and I always have to check that it's on. I'm so sorry for that tangent. So with the things that I just discussed that can kind of exist on the relationship escalator, I have a concern that I think a lot of people find themselves following these steps and are maybe not doing it with like fully kind of mindful intentions. I have a theory. It is backed up, I think, by some science, but don't quote me, and I shan't be referencing them. But backed up by some science that society has told us that those types of conventions are the right things, and that society has told us that that will bring us happiness, and that society has told us that in order to be fulfilled, and I think a lot of this goes back to like the tradition of, religion in the country in which I live for sure, has sold us this idea. It sold us lots of ideas, which frankly I disagree with. But I think it can be really easy to just make a lot of assumptions about yourself and to think, well, if I'm in a romantic relationship, I should live with that person. And like, that's not the best thing for everybody. Or if I'm living with someone and we're in a romantic relationship, we should probably get married. That's not the best thing for everybody either. Or I'm a human, so I should probably have children because that seems to be what everyone else is doing. No way. No way in hell. That's not the best thing for everyone. And I feel quite strongly, it's a hot take, okay? It's a hot take, and lovers of monogamy out there everywhere will be disagreeing with me. But I really think that we should bring as much choice to whether we want to be in a monogamous relationship or whether we want to be non-monogamous. I think that we should bring as much choice around that as we do to like what job we do or where we live. I think that monogamy is so readily accepted as the thing that people should do. Or I guess it is probably more loaded than that. I think it's considered the thing that will bring us happiness. It is considered the only way, I think, in a lot of places to like commit to somebody. And I think that it's just really valuable to bring some curiosity around that for yourself and your partner. And I think, I would love to exist in a world that when two people meet and have an interest in each other romantically, that they actually sit down and discuss, okay, what kind of relationship structure would work best for us, given our unique situation. I think it would be just gorgeous if more people asked themselves that question, and if that was like more of a consideration at the beginning of a relationship. But in my experience, certainly I do live in quite like a right-wing part of Scotland. So this probably happens more elsewhere and I just don't see it. But I don't know anybody who had that discussion when they first got into a relationship. I only know people who were like, well, monogamy is the way that you love someone, and monogamy is the way that you commit to someone, and monogamy is the way that your life should look. And that's just like, yeah, so accepted as the only way to do it. And I think that, that's fundamentally why I think that everybody should consider non-monogamy. So I have been planning on talking about this topic for a really long time. And one of the reasons why I was pushed to do this even more recently is because I have recently struck up a new relationship. And I currently have a boyfriend and a fiance, and it is beautiful, in a word. Also, shout out. Fantastic men. Fantastic men. Please hold. Guys, I was just consulting my notes because I actually have notes. Isn't that absolutely incredible? If you've been watching my channel for a little while, you know that's not something I do. I only do that when I'm very, very serious about a topic. So I guess one of the biggest questions that people have around non-monogamy is the question of just why. It's the thing that I've been asked most often, and I will do a whole video about this. But this is kind of where I guess my reason for being, I'm polyamorous, which means that you're open to loving multiple people at the same time. So it is a form of ethical non-monogamy, and it's, a form of non-monogamy. And there are loads of different categories, which I would love to go over sometime. But I guess the point where my reason for being polyamorous meets the kind of idea about not getting on the relationship escalator is the idea that I am not prepared to sacrifice my individuality to couplehood. And my autonomy and freedom and liberty is so valuable to me. And this is one of the ways in my life that I have found to express that, to, this is gonna sound so cheesy, to journey through the world as an individual and to have multiple relationships with people, rather than what I know I have certainly done in the past when I've been monogamous, is that I have very much lent towards codependence. And again, I think this is another really damaging thing about monogamy, is that I think it kind of teaches us that you really need to be with someone. You need to find someone that you can't live without. You need to kind of completely intertwine and intermesh your lives irreversibly. And that's sort of the only way that you can really kind of commit to somebody. And I don't know about you guys, but I would describe that as codependence. And I don't think it's very healthy, and it's not something that I wanted to have in my life. So yeah, I hope that this has like made honestly any sense. I feel like I am tackling a huge subject. One small video at a time is what this is gonna look like. So I hope this has been like coherent, and I would love to know in the comments below what you guys want to hear more about. Like, what are your questions? What do you think the most interesting thing about this is? And maybe you don't think it's interesting at all. That is absolutely fine. I am not offended. Not everyone thinks that my choices are fascinating. But yeah, I would love to know what you guys want to see another video on in the future to do with non-monogamy, because I think it's a really great thing to talk about. So that has been it for this video, guys. I am literally just about to film another video for my Adventures with Agnes channel, where I'm going to be kind of like expanding on this topic a little bit more, / some of the recent changes to my life. But on Adventures with Agnes, it's more informal and vlog style. So I'm about to go and do that over there. So if you want to hear more about this in a more kind of relaxed fashion, please head over. Take good care, guys. It has been a pleasure sharing this with you. Actually, I'm not finished. I wanted just before my outro to say, Oliver Tree approves of this message. Actually, to be fair, I don't know that for sure. He just seems like the kind of guy who'd be really into non-monogamy. He seems like the kind of guy who would get it, okay? He's a rule breaker. That's it. Peace, guys. Take care.